Hello guys, welcome to Learning with Prep Class. I am BC, I am a prep class tutor. It's always good to be here. Okay, so what do we have in this video? In this video, I'll be solving questions 41 to question 45 of the Aqua Vocational Studies Agricultural Science for the year 2018. Please subscribe to our channel because this is where you can get more videos like this that would help you in the preparation for your exams. Also, don't forget to like and comment on this video as I would be glad to respond to your comments in the comment section. Without further ado, let's begin. So the first question is question 41. Are you ready? Okay. So the question says, when a buyer returns goods to the supplier, which of these is issued? A. Cash register, B. Credit note, C. Debit note, D. Voucher. So for us to be able to choose the correct option, we need to find out what each of this means. What's the meaning of cash register? What does credit note mean? Debit note and voucher. So let's find out. So the first one is cash register. Cash register is a mechanical or electronic device for registering and calculating transactions at a point of sale. It is usually attached to a drawer for storing cash and other valuables. A modern cash register is usually attached to a printer that can print out receipts for record keeping purposes. So this cash register is a device that is used for registering and calculating transactions at the point of sale. Okay, so what about credit notes? A credit note is a document sent by the supplier to the customer notifying the customer that he or she has been credited a certain amount due to an error in the original invoice or other reasons. So this is a document sent by the supplier to the customer to tell the customer that he or she has been credited a certain amount. This could be due to the return of goods or because of an error in the invoice or as a result of return of damaged goods, okay, or other reasons at all. Okay, so what about debit note? A debit note is a document issued by a buyer to the seller to indicate or request a return of funds for return of goods due to incorrect or damaged goods received, purchase cancellation or other specified circumstances. So you remember credit note is issued from the seller to the buyer, but debit note is issued by a buyer to the seller to indicate that he or she has returned some goods due to incorrect goods or damaged goods or purchase cancellation or any other reasons at all. So this is issued by a buyer to the seller. What about voucher? Voucher is an internal document describing and authorizing the payment of a liability to a supplier. Okay, liability is something that is owed. Okay, so it could be money, it could be goods, or it could be services. So this is an internal document describing and authorizing payment for something owed to a supplier. Okay, so the question says when a buyer returns goods to the supplier, which of this is issued? So it is debit note. Remember, debit note is issued by a buyer to the seller. So the correct option here is C, debit note. All right, question 42. Frequent stem damage observed on rice or maize is an indication of dash attack. A. Capsid. B. Cane rat. C. Stem borer. D. Locust. So which of this is correct? So for us to be able to choose the correct option here, let's find out the kind of pests each of these options are and what crops they attack. Okay, so the first one is capsid. It's also known as capsid bug. It is a pest of many ornamental and fruiting plants such as apples, roses, potato. So this is not a pest of rice or maize plants. Okay, what about cane rat? This is also known as grass cutter. It is a rodent found in Africa, so it is native to Africa. It is a pest of yam, potato, groundnut, cassava, and so many other crops. Okay, so stem borer. Stem borer are insects that bores into the plant stems and destroys them. They destroy the stem of rice, maize, and so many other crops. So from the name stem borer, they bore into stems. They cause frequent stem damage to crops. Okay, what about locusts? Locusts are insects of grasshopper species. They are of the grasshopper species that mainly feed on grasses and crops. So locusts mainly feed on grasses and other crops such as wheat, cotton, and so many other crops. So which of the following is the correct option? Of course, it is stem borer. The question says frequent stem damage observed on rice or maize plant is an indication of dash attack. Remember, stem borers are insects that damage the stem. They bore into the stem of crops. So the answer here is stem borer. So frequent stem damage observed on rice or maize plant is an indication of stem borer attack. So the correct option here is C. Now, question 43. The aim of advertisement is to dash. A. Increase the cost of the product. B. Create confusion in the mind of consumer. C. Lead to the loss of company product. D. Increase the sale of goods. Okay, so now the first thing is, what is advertisement? What does it mean? We need to know the meaning of advertisement to be able to even know the aim of advertisement. Okay, so what is advertisement? Advertisement is also known as advert or ad. When you see advert or you see ad, they mean advertisement. Okay, so advertisement is the promotion of a product, brand, or service to the public in order to attract engagement and sales. So you advertise your product, you advertise your service to the public just to attract engagement and sales. Advertisements are a guaranteed method of reaching an audience, able to tell them about what you are doing. So it's a guaranteed method of reaching an audience. By creating an engaging ad and spending enough to reach many users, advertisements can have an immediate impact on business. So there are many businesses that are thriving now because of their advertisements. People hear about them, you know, they engage a lot of people. So people get to know about their product and then it increases their sale. So advertisements help to increase the sales of a business. In fact, this is the major aim while advertisement is done by companies or by businesses. They do it to increase their sales. So the question is, the aim of advertisement is to dash, increase the cost of the product. No, that's not the aim of advertisement. It's not for the cost of the product to be increased. No. Create confusion in the mind of consumer. No, of course not. That is not the aim of advertisement. You don't advertise just to confuse the customer. When you confuse the customer, then what are you trying to do? Okay, so this is not the aim of advertisement. C. Lead to the loss of company products. No, no company would advertise to lose their product. No, nobody would do that. All right. D. Increase the sales of goods. Yes, the aim of advertisement is to increase the sale of goods. So you are bringing your product or your services to public notice to increase the sales of your goods or services. All right. So the correct option here is D. Check. Question 44. Dash is a disease-causing organism. A. Pathogen. B. Vector. C. Endoparasite. D. Tick. So for us to be able to answer this question, let's find out the meaning of each of these options. The first one is pathogens. Pathogens are organisms that cause diseases. Examples of pathogens are viruses, like the coronavirus. It's a pathogen. It causes disease. Okay, so viruses are pathogens. So pathogens are organisms that cause disease, or you call them disease-causing organisms. Vectors are organisms that does not cause disease but which spread infection by conveying pathogens from one host to another. An example of vector is mosquito. Do you know that mosquito is not the causative agent of malaria? No, but mosquito help to convey the pathogens, which is Plasmodium falciparum. It is Plasmodium falciparum that is actually the causative agent for malaria, not mosquito. So mosquito is just a carrier. So vectors are carriers of pathogens. They themselves are not the causative agent. Okay, they don't cause diseases. All right, so what about endoparasites? Endoparasites are parasites that live in the tissues and organs of their host. Example of an endoparasite is tapeworm. So you find endoparasite inside the tissues and organs of the host, not outside. Okay. Now, what about lice? Lice are ectoparasites. They are found on human hair and they feed on the blood. Ectoparasites are parasites that live on the external surface of their host. So they don't live inside like the endoparasite. They live outside of the host. Okay? So now, which of this is correct? Dash is a disease-causing organism. Remember, pathogen is an organism that causes diseases. Or you say pathogen is a disease-causing organism. So the correct option here is A, pathogen. Question 45, which is the last question in this video. Which of these will not affect the buying of rice? A, personal. B, religion. C, social. D, cultural. So which of these will not affect the buying of rice? You can as well think of it. Would your personal reasons affect you from buying rice? Of course. What about religion? No. Social? Maybe. Cultural too? Yes. Okay, so let's see how each of these could affect buying of rice. Because buying of rice may be affected by personal, social, and cultural factors, but it's not affected by religious factors. Okay, so let's talk about the personal factors. These are factors that are based on the individual. Some of these personal factors that may affect the buying of rice are preference. Now, I may not like rice. Maybe I prefer to eat other kinds of food. So individual preference, individual differences. Some people would say they don't like rice, and some people like rice so much. So this is a personal factor that will affect the buying of rice. Okay, what about age? There are some people that their doctors tell not to stop eating some starchy food as a result of their age. This could also affect the buying of rice. Income of the consumers could also be a personal factor. Why? Because someone whose income is low might not be able to afford to buy rice. Okay, what about social factors? Humans are social beings and they live around many people who influence their buying behavior. So you might want to buy rice because, oh, that's what people around me eat. Okay, so what about cultural factors? Do you remember what culture is? Culture is a way of life. So a group of people are associated with a set of values and ideologies that belong to a particular community. So when a person comes from a particular community, his or her buying behavior is highly influenced by the culture relating to that particular community. So cultural factor is a factor that could affect the buying of rice. So the option that is correct here is B, religion. I don't think there's any religion that prohibits the eating of rice. So religion will not affect the buying of rice. So the personal, social, and cultural factors could affect the buying of rice, but religion will not affect the buying of rice. I hope you enjoyed this video and you are able to learn from it. Please don't forget to like and comment on this video. Also, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. This is where you can get more videos like this. And you can join us on WhatsApp by clicking on the link in the description below. Till I come your way next time. Bye.